Hello class, my name is Christopher Manley and today I will be doing my report on bullying prevention. I would like to first apologize. This will be a little choppy. I could not get PowerPoint to record a video for me. Like it could, but I couldn't get it to pick up my voice. So I had to do this all on one take on my cell phone. My apologies, but let's get started. First, bullying prevention. Bullying has long-term effects on the victim's physical and psychological health. We know that the trauma from bullying can last for decades after the initial attack. Today we will be discussing 3 different types of bullying and what we can do to prevent them in our school. And the quote on the bottom of this PowerPoint is, "Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will really hurt me," because we know that emotional abuse is nothing to joke around with, and I just really like that quote. What is bullying? Before we can discuss how to combat bullying, we must first define it. Bullying is characterized by intimidation, teasing, stealing, physical attacks, and inflicted trauma. What does this do to our victims? Bullying victims express abnormal brain responses. Stress-activated chemicals overrun the memory sensor, killing nerves in the brain, and attacks the immune system, which often causes depression and anxiety. An attack quickly deprives working memory of oxygen and glucose and impairs academic performance. Try solving equations after being ridiculed and slapped at the bus stop. Nearly 1 in 3 U.S. students report being bullied during the school year, and 7 out of 10 adults and children are victim to cyberbullying every day, according to the National Center for Educational Statistics. More than half of bullying situations stop when a peer interviews, but even with a 25% raise in anti-bullying and bystander programs throughout the United States in the past 5 years, bullying is sadly on the rise, and it's not slowing down. What is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is the use of digital media, such as websites, apps, and text messages, to intimidate, upset, or harm someone. It includes repeatedly sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, or mean content about someone else on purpose. Cyberbullying differs from face-to-face bullying in several key ways. For one, it can feel harder to escape because it can happen anywhere, anytime. It is also harder to detect because so much of kids' digital media use is unmonitored by adults. At the same time, cyberbullying can also be very public. Large number of people online can see what's happening and even gang up on a target. Though the target is usually exposed publicly, cyberbullies can hide who they are because they can post anonymously or even use aliases. And since cyberbullying isn't face-to-face, the one doing the bullying may not even see or understand the implications of their actions. In order to see where cyberbullying is happening, it's nice to know the vocab behind it. So our cyberbullying vocab is first, bystander. A bystander observes the conflict or unacceptable behavior but does not take part in it. An ally is someone who responds to the bullying situation by supporting the person being bullied, either checking in with them, calling, trying to see if they're okay. And an upstander is a person who tries to stop the bullying by confronting the person who is bullying directly or by telling a trusted adult. There are several things we can do to combat cyberbullying. The first being to promote a positive and safe classroom culture. We're going to go over more about creating a safe classroom culture at the end of the PowerPoint. 2 is to embrace teachable digit moments. When cyberbullying happens, talk to the whole class and show them how negatively it affects their fellow students. And 3, incorporate lessons on cyberbullying into your existing curriculum. So have this stuff planned out from the beginning of the year, especially in middle school. Mean Girls. Rejecting the mean girl framework. Responding to our male students' fights, sexual misbehavior, or general misconduct with the comment, "boys will be boys," is widely recognized as unhealthy and unacceptable. But when faced with name-calling, rumor spreading, exclusion, and social sabotage among female students, all we seem to say is, "It's just girl drama, don't worry about it." What if instead of rolling our eyes and telling girls to be nice or ignoring the situations altogether, we talk with the girls early and often about power, their own power, and that over others, and help them recognize that they have more power than they realize and that they can use it for good or to hurt other people. Mean girls are able to wield more than their share of power by cooperating with the power of others. We need to help girls claim their power and help them to work together to create a safer school environment. What can we do to help combat this mean girl personality? First, we need to name what we see when we see girls engage in mean girl behaviors and then take the time to process it. We must also encourage young women to pay attention to how they feel as they gain and lose power through their social, emotional experiences. What could be gained by recognizing the power in their words, their energy, and their relationships. We can also use what we see in the media, from the Disney Channel to the Real Housewives, as case studies. What do they notice in the shift of power when sarcasm, put downs, exclusion, and even physical aggression become part of the story? We can teach them to use mindfulness techniques and self-compassion defined by the 3 components of self-kindness: sensing oneself as part of a common humanity, and maintaining perspective in challenging circumstances to help girls stay centered in the moment. And most importantly, however, as educators, we must refuse to accept girl drama as unavoidable. This work begins with us, but it can serve all students in our care. And really, we have to rethink this. It's almost sexist to say, well, girls are just going to be dramatic and that's it. You know, it's just like what we used to say with the boys will be boys from earlier on. Boys do not have to fight, and they do not have to make sexually perverted comments during class. We know that. And we also know that girls do not have to participate in this mean exclusion and drama. So it's us as teachers to notice this and deem it as unacceptable from the beginning. Mindfulness techniques are things we can use in order to get these girls to really get back to center and to focus on themselves. And really the best one is to observe your breath. With a straight back, breathe in and say the words, "I am." And when you breathe out, say the word "peace." They can do this 3 to 5 times. They can also use different forms of breathing and meditation to center themselves. Mindful walks also work, where they watch their feet and they watch themselves walk through the space in order to calm themselves and keep themselves in the moment. The use of hate speech is the final type of bullying we will cover in this PowerPoint. When encountering hate speech in your classroom, it is important to know why children are using it. The 5 reasons are to express bigotry and racism, to express their own internal anger and unresolved pain, to feel superior, 4, to feel powerful when they feel powerless in other areas of their life, and 5 is simply to show off to friends. How can we help with the hate speech? First, just like with cyberbullying, we will go over how to do this later, is to establish a classroom value that all cultures are to be respected. The second is to build class empathy. Having ensured that your class is a safe space, ask your students if any one of them has been a victim of hate speech. If they are willing, let these students share with the rest of the class how it felt to hear hateful language. Have a class discussion for the students to share how they felt hearing these stories from their classmates. And finally, we can analyze hate speech. In small groups, invite students to get curious and deepen their understanding of where hate speech comes from. Where is it and isn't? And can you assign each group an answer? And you can assign each group to answer questions like, who decides what hate speech is, the speaker or the recipient? What is the difference between teasing, sarcasm, insulting, and hate speech? Does the intention of the speaker matter? Is all hate speech the same? How subjective is hate speech? Is stereotyping the same as hate speech? And does the victim of hate speech have the right to use it to fight back? Have each group lead a discussion about their topic. Once all of these discussions are finished, develop a class definition of hate speech, including how it differs from other kinds of hurtful talk. And finally, how to build a supportive classroom. And this is really going to lead into everything we need to know to nip this in the butt, so to speak, and really combat bullying at the beginning, before it gets out of hand. First, it's okay to notice differences, and you should actually embrace it as part of your community, whether it's color or a disability. Pretending that, if a kid has one arm, pretending that he doesn't have one arm doesn't help. People still are going to joke about it. People are going to want to talk about it. So it's better just to bring that up and use it as part of our community and embrace it rather than shoving it to the side and pretending it doesn't matter. Number 2 is children may need time and support in resolving conflicts. And this really comes from, children come from all over the place, a whole bunch of different families, and all these families communicate in different ways. So it can be helpful to learn from our students and their family about their culture and how they resolve conflicting ideas and actions. Some families might tease each other, some families might be real supportive, and as these students, especially in earlier education, come into class, they might be with new kids their age for the first time, and they may not know how to appropriately deal with these situations by themselves. Number 3, and my favorite, is help students connect with each other. One of the teachers in the article said that the first day of class, they have their students fist bump everybody. I think that's a great idea to build community and a sense of belonging. When I teach jiu-jitsu, we all bow because that's traditional. But right after we bow, we all line up. We line up like 2 baseball teams used to, and every single person high fives everyone else in the class and says thank you. And these are important and great ways to build community and trust in each other. The next one is help students take control of their emotions. A great way to do this is a 60-second exercise where you ask the student to explain in 60 seconds what they are happy about or what they are grateful for. And what we find is that it's hard for students to feel anxious or angry when they are expressing how grateful they are of something. We can also help students reduce anxiety. This comes from different breathing techniques, or maybe a run through the baseball field, or even just a quick talk with a trusted teacher. So to recap, today we went over the 3 different types of bullying: cyberbullying, the mean girl mentality, and hate speech. The number 1 way to combat bullying is to build a supportive and caring classroom unit. The fist bumps at the beginning of the day, talking to each other about differences in our communities and in our cultures, and talking to each other about things like hate speech and cyberbullying and that mean girl personality. We should bring that up and talk about that in the classroom and talk about how much it hurts our fellow classmates, so we can really see the damage that bullying does on a day-to-day basis. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something. Have a good day.